Muscles abound. Taros versus Queen Nai. This is like Duke versus Foda dream match.
Now, okay, real quick, which one of these is the Hulk and which one's the Thor?
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say Queen Nai's the Hulk.
Yeah.
That's just what it's got to be.
I mean, like, it makes sense because Taros does have the hammer matching Thor, but Hulk is the strongest Avenger, and I do think Taros is the stronger one here, as we are in Game 1 of the Winners Final, currently even in the damage department, and Fiend going to be switching over to the Spear. That's what we were seeing Fiend lean into, was a lot of that Spear and catching those jumps with those downlights.
Yeah, he does an exceptional job at covering the ground space with that Spear neutral light and the side light, which conditions the opponent to want to jump. Hey, that's going to be my main way in, through, and around. And Spear downlight is the perfect anti-air to complete that triangle.
Yeah, it's really good at kind of getting an idea into your opponent's head and then shutting it down.
Oh!
But Wes, ready for the matchup, just runs underneath the snake bite, but can't get a solid enough punish.
Man, the damage has been just marching forward between these two. Yeah, you're right. Queen Nai does have a ton of defense, but Taros cutting through it with that massive strength for the first knockout.
Yeah, that was really high in the sky. Of course, lots of damage had been built up, so that likely would have knocked out either way. But first stock advantage to the West.
Fiend now trying to find the knockout.
Good
Oh
dodge.
my gosh, that ground pound could have tied up the stocks, but man, now he is still looking for the recovery just enough.
Yeah, Fiend is able to connect with that recovery. Of course, the neutral light into the recovery isn't a true combo, but he did catch Wes out on that one. And that is going to even up the stocks. Okay. Went for the stomp end.
I do like that option. The stomp into the neutral signature, you know, there are higher damage options that you could go for with some of the light attack on the kit, but he wanted the positioning there for that reversal. Spit Fiend out the back end to get the edge guard set up.
Yeah, normally...
Oh, and he's really going for it.
I was going to say, normally I'm critical of that stomp Ensig at low damage because, like you said, there's higher damage build tools. But right now, Wes is getting that damage built up with these juggling nairs. Big side sig, and Wes going to go up big over Fiend. Has a lot of health to play with here.
Yeah, that lead that he was able to just... Oh my gosh, even on the dodge punish, that's so much damage.
I miss the good old days when stomping a down sig was true. Nice.
I know. Right now. Uh-oh. The modified Mafia for the dodge read too? Oh, that's slick.
That was such good movement to set up into that and just went right on in. Gets the scoop up. Convincing game 1 for Wes.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 2-stock victory. Those first stocks, incredibly close. But just widening that gap time over time. Wes winning out every single interaction.
And of course, lots of damage was able to be put out. That's again, we kind of talked about it, right? When you go stat to stat, when the strength and the defense even out, then it just goes to whatever the base damages are.
Yeah.
And Axe and Hammer, they have pretty good base damage numbers. So it's just getting that straight damage built up. And of course, Fiend sticking with the Queen Nai is just gonna change up the skin game.
All right, and we're looking maybe changing up the map as well. We've got Small Brawlhaven, Small Enigma, and Demon Island. Or is it Small Brawlhaven? That would just be a crazy match with these two.
No.
All right, no.
Interesting.
Still
pick.
dangerous terrain because Demon Island has very small walls. So if Wes can land any of those neutral signatures on Taros in this match, it's gonna mean a lot.
Yeah, but at the same time, Fiend, of course, with the Spear has that like Spear down signature, which is really good for catching people on these short-walled maps because sometimes you'll peek your head a little bit more than you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Nice start for Fiend. Might have disarmed himself, but is able to pick up that Spear toss. Fiend, very adept at those weapon tosses. And you're seeing him trying to make the adjust, right? He went for the down sig and is now trying to fast fall into that neutral light to cover, but the double...
Yeah, he was able to capitalize on that because Wes, you know, went for the gravity cancel there. So that means 3 seconds of no dodge. Oh my gosh, the spot dodge getting caught by the falling off of the neutral signature.
That was a really good punish from Wes, reading that dodge out from Fiend. Fiend almost gets it, but a nice reaction from Wes with that spot dodge to avoid that downlight. Big Sair, weapon toss, yep, and that's the first stock for Wes.
That was one of those, like, kind of quick little mind games of when are you going to spend your options and in what order. because he was looking, hey, I'm going to save my jumps, my things that are a little bit more mobile for the later time where I need to actually maneuver around you to get back up on the corner. But Wes called out that early recovery and was like, you're locked in for that portion? That's an easy weapon toss.
Ooh, and he scoops up while Fiend is doing the down signature there. Wes really trying to find a lot of momentum here in game number 2. Nice neutral light, takes more stage control from Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, Wes has managed to get a ton of extra credit, even though Fiend just spreading his wings to set him free onto this second stock. It's still a serious mountain to climb.
Yeah, this is a solid advantage for Wes. Definitely doable for Fiend, not out of this one yet, but a nice double from Wes with the dare into the nair means more damage and closer to the kill percent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So incredibly close, gives him the full shave with the axe side air down to his last stock. This is looking a little reminiscent of game 1.
Yeah, got the shave and the cream with that one, as well as a warm towel for afterwards.
Yo, the full service?
Didn't even have to pay extra. That one was for free.
Shave and a haircut, 2 bits or 2 stocks. That's what Wes is looking for.
But he does find the neutral light into the neutral signature. Disarms himself on the whiffed weapon toss. Fiend now with the weapon advantage, but not able to push it as Wes is still playing close to Fiend on this corner.
Yeah, they're keeping this match in tight right now. Fiend, he's got such a giant comeback to make, and Wes isn't getting caught out by any of those massive strikes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that didn't knock out.
It's the tail end of that recovery, but a nice side sig to punish the side sig whiff, and Fiend holds on to the final stock for a brief moment, trying to juggle. This is the second time Fiend has been juggling and just gets caught.
Yeah, and that's dangerous because, you know, the actual amount of stun time from a weapon throw isn't that long. So if they're doing some of those multi-hit attacks like the unarmed neutral light, they might be able to get another one in there depending on when that weapon throw lands. Oh, and stomp side air, Wes for game 2 victory? I can't believe he's up 2-0. Is this going to be a quick sweep of winners finals?
Yeah, there was a lot of sawdust in that barn, and like you said, it is burning down, and unfortunately it is on the plot of land that is owned by Fiend, and now Fiend is down to game number 3. If he loses this one here, he is knocked down into the lower bracket, and we've got a guaranteed top 2 finish for Wes.
Really well this tournament, but man, I want to see Fiend bring this back at least a little bit, and for that, he's actually swapping over to the Val. So we've now got Gauntlets and Sword, a completely different stat mix, and it looks like, are we getting a stage mix as well? No.
Demon Island's still there.
I mean, if it's open, I would take it. As Wes, absolutely.
He did just win on Demon Island, but Small Mammoth is also like a can't go wrong kind of map. And as we've said, South America does like the triplats, but it looks like it is going to be the Demon Island for game number 3. This is an interesting pick for Fiend. Of course, most people have some skills with the sword. Gauntlets, on the other hand, I don't think I've seen that much Gauntlets from Fiend. Like, I'm just trying to think of immediate character picks here, and it was like Jala, Barasa, and the Thatch are the 3 that I've seen, and then like Nash as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a little bit of the wild card, a bit of mystery, but it does have a good tool set for this map pick. So it's a little bit of, if either of these players get caught out, the other one can actually just delete the stock.
Definitely a lot of aggressive tools. Goes for the toss down there to catch Fiend, but Fiend with the movement, able to avoid that weapon toss. The sidelight actually caught kind of awkward, so Wes couldn't get the true follow-up.
Fiend using those mid-range weapon tosses just to keep Wes on the back foot. They're not going to do a ton of damage, but they do break up the pace.
Yeah, gotta throw the timing off. Can't let your opponents get into that rhythm. Again, Wes with these weapon tosses down, not quite landing onto Fiend. Ooh, nice.
Oh, with the wall variant, riding the lightning all the way up.
Yeah, I was waiting for Wes to go for the risky end sig, but Fiend just calls him out, throws out the side sig up the wall, and launches Wes high. Couldn't quite lead to the knockout. That's going to be one thing that Fiend struggles with this Val, is that low strength.
Oh, now both of them unarmed. Fiend manages to swoop in and just steal that weapon away. Downlight recovery, yes, first knockout, Fiend on the board.
Yeah, looking solid. Trying to decide what weapon to be. It's gonna be the gauntlets. And you see, he didn't try to juggle too extra long this time. He was like, all right, I'm just gonna stick with the gauntlets. I don't want to end up getting clapped up on the respawn. Nice. Big opportunity here. Misses the Sair, and that is a hard punish from Wes.
The patience that he had to just fast fall under Fiend and go, hey, I know if I fast fall under you as the gauntlets, you don't really have too many options that can catch up to me. And one hammer recovery is all it takes.
Yeah, that's a really good spot to play with the hammer, is right underneath. Of course, it's a risky spot, just like this.
Was he going to do it again?
He was thinking about it. You saw him falling low, but that's a now full stock advantage to Fiend in game number 3.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I feel like Wes was definitely fishing to bait Fiend down there once again, but this time, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
Weapon
no.
toss, and he
caught the
is
recovery.
Gone.
All right, so it's an incredibly volatile play. When it pays off, it gets the stock. When it doesn't, it's your stock. And Wes is happy to just play those odds.
Yeah, that's one thing that the neutral sig is what started that entire engagement, and that's what's so strong about it on the corner, is because it can just force an offstage engagement. Immediately led to the ground pound, fast fall underneath, recovery, weapon toss, and Fiend was gone. He reacted with the immediate recovery.
Wes going up and around, but Fiend getting, the
tricky.
hot swap into the extra juggles for the weapon starve.
It's been successful so far. Wes is disarmed again. Fiend was a full stock up, and the downlight sider not quite enough. Weapon toss doesn't land.
Not yet.
Second opportunity. Gonna go high, and it
with
will
the
knock
shuriken
out.
toss.
You know, that does not knock out as frequently as I would want to whenever I play Valve.
Yeah, it's got a lot of range, priority, it's got the retreat on there, so it's a very sneaky attack, but man, it knocks at kind of like that little bit of a diagonal angle, and the fact that you like kind of retreat before you do the uppercut, it always just adds extra distance onto it, but man, Fiend had enough damage there that was lights out.
And of course, Fiend gonna stick with the adage, don't fix what ain't broke, as he sticks with the Val, and now it's on Wes to make the adjustment. We have been praising Wes's Lance, but we have not seen much of it as of late. Still options on the table. Of course, we did see the Taros. Could see the Olgrim, but now it's going to be Taros.
And locking in the Taros. I mean, he still has runway to play with because he is up 2-1 in this best of 5. He can still lose another game against Fiend and come out ahead.
I always feel like in this situation, it's like, yeah, you can lose the next game, and it's not terrible. But it's always scary to be in that Game 5 situation, especially when you're up 2-0, and to immediately turn that around to a 2-2, it's like, man, I messed up a little bit there.
Yeah, always something to be reconsidering there. And so now we're reconsidering Mammoth Fortress for another game. We're kind of sandwiching it in there.
Yeah, at least changing up the map. Got to do something different. As we get into game number 4, Wes going to start it off with the initial damage onto Fiend. Fiend has the sword in hand. Nice spot dodge with the punish there.
Man, they've been trading kind of blow for blow, but you see Taros' strength and that high base damage of the axe just coming out ahead. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that was close.
I thought he had that throw lined up.
He does have that lined up, though. The D-Light into ground pound. Really good on Wes to recognize Fiend's been out there for a while, burning a lot of utility, getting back to the stage, and just complete that KO.
Oh! The dash jump ground pound almost caught him with the neutral air that would reverse positions yet again.
And what a read from Wes, reading the dodge down from Fiend, throws out the down signature for just that raw damage on top of it. Again, the dodge down from Fiend gets punished by Wes. So much damage is being built up for Wes.
Side signature just zooping its way in there. He's going for these ground pounds and always kind of stopping them at the stage level. I mean, that one was dead over the corner, so he was really looking for Wes to just kind of come charging in.
Yeah, trying to punish the over-aggression from Wes. There you've seen a burn dodge from Wes, but Fiend not able to capitalize. Big stare. Wes could go up huge as the weapon toss connects.
Gosh.
And that's another stock. Wes now 3 stocks to 1 of Fiend.
Yeah, it's kind of been the hallmark here of Wes just tracking Fiend's recovery options, letting him just kind of spend them all, and then the surgical precision to clean it up. Fiend still has a shot, but man, he's back a full stock.
That was a nice reaction from Fiend, though. Saw that Wes was coming in with the down sig, but he didn't have as much movement on it. So he was able to get that punish with the gravity cancel downlight, which did lead to the knockout, but still a full stock behind.
Fiend sticking in close to this Taros. He's been dancing around back and forth, getting
Oh, no.
just behind. Oh, no! That could be disastrous. That got
he's
the recovery.
gone.
Wes, absolute dominance at the end here, securing it with the 2-stock victory for a 3-1 set over Fiend.
That was such a clean finish there. Again, Wes beating out the recovery. You saw the stars come out, and Wes just winning every offstage engagement to win it 3-1 and earn that guaranteed top 2 finish.
Yeah, that was crazy. Just absolutely poured on the gas at the end. The barn burned down, only cinders left, and Wes standing there with a smile on his face.
And now Fiend, of course, moving into the second barn. There's still a hope and a dream, but he is going to be sitting in the losers final, while Wes sitting up top, 2 barns on his plot of land, 1 for fun and 1 for friends. And he's going to just sit there with his barns and wait for the winner of the losers bracket. Right now, Lopez and LX, you're seeing them on the bottom of your screen.
All right, so this is a matchup. I mean, we just have seen it time and again. Earlier in this tournament, LX was the one that knocked Lopez into the lower bracket pre-top 8. So definitely eager for that run back. But looking at something a little bit more significant, this is once again the run back from the World Championship. It was LX versus Lopez, and I mean, they kind of just alternated who was dominating which set there. So it's always been back and forth between these players, and I know they want to try and settle that today.
Yeah, I mean, even just talking about their history against each other inside of this singular tournament, it went 3-2, just shy of the top 8. So it was a really close one. There's a real possibility. Of course, LX did win out just before the top 8, but there's a real possibility for Lopez to get that comeback here in the losers semifinal.
Now LX, you see again, starting out with the Mako, one of the only players that has been very, very dedicated to the Greatsword. You know, even as it ebb and flowed into and out of the meta, sticking with it because, I mean, hey, that's a lot of time put into the weapon. He's got those dodge reads, and when they pay off, they are absolutely devastating.
Yeah, he's been able to get quite a bit of damage off of those dodge reads with the Greatsword. And of course, specifically, I was seeing him get a lot of knockouts with the Dare Nair, which is something that I think people kind of just like forgot existed about Greatsword, is just that ability to do the Dare into the Nair for the knockout.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where like the general true combo is gone, where it's just like, all right, yeah, now you can typically dodge out in between, but as the damage starts to build and your knockback increases, that's also increased stun time. You don't come out of stun until you're slow enough beyond a certain speed. So if you're really bouncing them at red, that's still going to be a knockout confirmed.
Yeah, and LX, of course, knowing exactly when to pull that trigger and get that knockout. It's been very effective, but we're going to get right on into game number 1. Lopez on the Barbara versus LX on the Mako.
All right, so continuing this top 4 action. I have no idea how this one's going to play out. I know I'm terrified of LX's dunks that he has available on Mako, but Lopez's Brynn has looked absolutely dominant in the sets since they last met.
Now, it is worth pointing out that Lopez played Jiro for their previous match against each other. So any information that LX had on the way Lopez was playing, basically thrown out the window, because this is a whole different character.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wildly no shared weapons, no shared like stat focus. It's really just entirely changed up. But LX still has the damage lead to start.
Yeah, it will still share those dodge habits, which is one thing that LX was able to catch there, was that dodge out, which led to a decent chunk of damage onto Lopez.
Yeah, you can change the character, but the player behind might still have a couple residual habits left over. Ooh. Oh! LX, once again, that side light opener into the down signature, so incredibly quick. I mean, if you see that they have already spent their dodge, you can definitely go right into that.
And that's one thing that's really tricky about Greatswords is, like, as a person playing against it, you're always thinking about, okay, they're going to look for their bridge opportunity. They're going to look for what their follow-up is. Nice side sig to keep this one close. But the greatsword players are constantly baiting out these light attacks so that when they decide to dive in with a heavy attack, which is going to take a little bit more on startup, you're still thinking about light attacks and get caught.
So right now, LX is thinking about how to get those light attacks. Finally manages to grab the weapon, but Lopez managed to tie up the damage and take a little bit of a lead. Oh my gosh. The footsies, both of them just hanging right near each other, kind of who's going to blink first.
Right there, LX closed his eyes, and Lopez caught with the neutral signature. Got some really good damage onto LX. LX is currently disarmed, waiting for the spawn. It's going to be the guitars, but the neutral sig will put it onto the final stock of LX.
Yeah, it doesn't reach as high as a bunch of other neutral signatures, but it just covers the area that you want, which makes it a consistent anti-air that we see a lot of players really enjoy.
Yeah, it's really good for covering close. It's basically like you can go for the light attack, which might, the down light, which might be a little bit faster, or you can go for the end sig, which might knock out.
Oh yeah. So now LX is looking to knock out. Tried to go for the dodge read, was expecting the dodge through, but Lopez doing a great job of changing that up. Hasn't given up the stock yet.
Some risky offstage coming out from Lopez. The weapon toss from LX gets him back up onto the stage, but Lopez still playing this unarmed. This whole entire sequence has been LX unarmed, or Lopez unarmed, but he eats the down sig.
Yeah, a little too overzealous there, but hey man, the damage has been done. Just off of the unarmed kit alone, he's been pushing him into the orange, almost the red.
Yeah, and it might be an unarmed move to finish this one off. No, backs up, picks up the spear. LX close to that kill percent, but getting some good damage built up. Down sig will launch.
And the falling side air, LX, pretty far out.
Goes below for the recovery. LX is holding on by the teeth of a shark. And the Nair is just going to get a little bit more damage on the Lopez. Side sig whiffs.
Oh my god, he keeps looking for this dodge through. Lopez doesn't give it. He gives him a side air instead for the game 1 win.
But it was looking a little bit rough there towards the tail end. LX really extended that final stock. Lopez does finish out game number 1 though.
Whew. Yeah, all right. Yeah, look at this final clip. LX always looking for that dodge through because that gives him the most stage, the most runway to get a proper punish with that greatsword to maximize the damage output. But Lopez has been kind of dodging towards the outside more often, which, I mean, has got him the win there, got him enough punishes to build the damage towards the win, and now we're going to see if that continues through game 2.
LX is going to make the switch. This was the Jaehyun. This is the one that closed it out in their actual previous matchup. It was the Jaehyun. He's swapping to it a little bit earlier. We saw him go Mako into Cassidy into Jaehyun. But now he's speed running a little bit and just doing the Cassidy skip to Jaehyun.
You know, you got to increase those reps. You got to speed them up.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get a new PB on that one. That's a gold split. As we get into game number 2, Lopez versus LX. Lopez, of course, going to be sticking on the Barbara Bryn, while LX is on the Jaehyun.
Lopez grabbing the first weapon. LX grabbing the first damage.
Greatsword picked up by LX. Will have a different signature kit. I've seen a lot of Jaehyuns do side sig this past weekend, and they have not quite been landing.
Yeah, it's one of those trickier ones. You know, it does have a bit of the dead zone in there. The landing area is a giant strike zone. Incredible force, incredible power behind it. But it does have some of the largest startup time in the game just because of how long it takes to get that leap going.
But Lopez getting some damage going as he gets the double down air. LX actually with the current damage advantage. There you're seeing the dare nair. A little bit early, didn't quite lead to the knockout with a sword recovery. And a Sayer, Lopez running out of jumps.
Goes high over LX, choosing to guard the weapon. But the recovery attempt that surely would have been a knockout. Lopez ducks under, arms up with the spear.
Lopez is really trying to hit the very farthest reaches of that spear side zig, and LX doing a really good job jumping, getting away from that one. Still wants the sword for the true knockout potential. Downlight into recovery.
Cutting him up, but not enough to take the stock. Man, Alex has done a phenomenal job just dodging each of these weapon tosses. Lopez has been unarmed so often in the match.
But Lopez has shown he's kind of comfortable with it, but not comfortable with the stock advantage, as Alex does land the recovery finally to take that first stock off of Lopez.
So looking to catch the landings, and catches the dodge, and catches the next weapon, and catches... Oh my gosh, he's just all hands.
Yeah, looking like an octopus with how many things he was able to catch on that one. Lopez still unarmed, trying to play further back. Alex is just saying, I have this weapon advantage, I'll just throw him at you and keep this advantage.
Yeah, Mammoth Fortress is his home, and Jae-Yun just lives there rent-free.
He's set up shop, has all the weapons that he needs,
Oh!
has the neutral sig as well. Lopez is in trouble in game number 2.
Yeah, that was absolutely disgusting. Weapon Starve continuing, still opting for the small sword, for the downlight recovery, and a 2-stock lead.
Again, the juggles, the weapon denials. Lopez wants to deny the 3-stock at the very least. Might throw out a signature, just try to pray for something heavy hitting. Here's the neutral sig attempt. Ooh, misses another one.
That was gutsy. You see LX doing a lot of these spot dodges because they do have longer invulnerability time than directional dodges. So if you're trying to actually just invuln yourself through an attack, which would have been pretty useful right there, the spot dodge is more reliable for that, unless you can actually get yourself out of the way.
It's also really good against Axe in particular to get on like the tail end of the move, catch him in those recovery frames. You'll see it happen a lot when Axes like to go for those light attack openers. But LX now currently sitting on the 2nd stock as Lopez did land the recovery.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you were absolutely right. Tagged him right at the tail end of that side light after spot dodging it. LX with a massive lead. Downlight side air, even gave a little bit of an early celebration, but too early.
You see Lopez try to take advantage of the weapons. Throws out the side stick again. LX jumping over it, just completely ready for this option from Lopez.
Oh man, he is just fishing for dodges now. You see it's always opener into movement reset for the greatsword.
The unarmed neutralite almost doing enough. That is a lot of damage built up onto Lopez.
Yeah, going into that like almost barbecue sauce color, matching the red of Barbara's hair here. That is deep.
But Lopez does do a good job spot dodging the down air approach from LX. Can't afford too much more in this one.
Man, Lopez is fighting his heart out. Ah, couldn't manage to take down the 2nd stock. So now LX going on the board, tying up the set 1-1.
Yo, but that's 700 damage taken from Lopez. Usually it's like, wow, that's cool, big number, better player. But 700 damage is a pretty inefficient stock. That's like 233 each stock. That's not the best. Usually your 150 is like optimum efficiency.
Yeah, that's really what you're looking for, to be like, all right, am I on pace for scoring the knockouts as early as I can and cutting my opponent's time short to make sure that they can't mount a comeback.
But
oh, Lopez over onto the Petra now.
I saw it as well. The Petra, going to be an interesting pick. I know we had Flambeau on earlier, and Flambeau, of course, a big fan of the Jae-Yun, knows what weapons work generally really well. One of the most common options is to go in for the bow. Orb, actually not the worst in the matchup against the Greatsword, specifically because of the Orb down air. But usually when I see a Petra, they're more into the gauntlets than they are into the Orb. So we'll see how Lopez plays this one out. Because if he does lean into the Orb, there's that possibility. But I'm expecting a lot of gauntlet play.
Well, with that gauntlet play, there's a ton of platforms for those uppercuts to hit. You know, Petra has some pretty high-reaching neutral signatures, so you're not safe standing up there. And Lopez showing it off by just grabbing him out of the sky with that gauntlet neutral air, immediately over into the orb, juggling him up again and again.
Yeah, doing a really good job denying weapons for the first 20 seconds of this one. Lopez was able to cycle from orb back to Orb. That was 3 weapon pickups, but LX does finally pick up a sword, so it's going to be a more standard opener to this one.
Big damage lead for Lopez now, hunting for the knockout, the neutral 8, the weapon toss, almost scoring it. But now it's over onto the gauntlets for the corner guard.
You're seeing Lopez not go for the ground pound. Instead, it's the recovery for the first stock here in game number 2. Going to juggle for a moment, but stick to the orb, because LX's next weapon will be that greatsword.
Ooh, went for the dodge read, expecting him to go down and out, but LX mixing it up. Oh, goes for the full charge Spirit Bomb, gets punished in the back.
Yeah, I don't know what he was looking for with that one, especially when LX was behind him, just watching him charge that one up. Looking like Frieza, just staring like, okay, you're getting everybody to put their hands up, I guess.
Listen, I know some of his past opponents dashed right back into haymakers that he was charging, but Lopez is not going to get away with that here.
Yeah, not at this level here in the top 4 things. LX with a nice side air will even up the stock count. Keeping this one close. Lopez does still have the health advantage. No weapon spawn. It's on the right side. LX can't cover.
So gauntlets, you see them just bunny hopping around, looking for whatever connection they can get. It's a 3-piece for Lopez to seal the deal, and a massive lead now.
I don't know where LX burned his dodge within that string, but that is not a true combo, and no. Lopez really just pulled the trigger on that one, and LX not able to get out.
I do wonder if that's a little bit of an extension. You see there, LX, you know, just kind of going along with the flow. We did see that in their neutral movement for a while, where they were just kind of bunny hopping around each other, waiting for the other one to dodge. Both very keen on turning dodge punishes into maximum effort, but I mean, you've got to spend that dodge at some point. You can't be scared to do it all the time.
Yeah, it's like a Marvel player saving the ultimate, except never using it. And now LX is down to the final stock. But goes for the read, gets dodged down, and Lopez gonna clean up game number 3 with a 2-stock lead.
Dang, that was a fast match. That was a really fast match.
Yeah, no breaks. Like I said, South America just putting gas on fires, and Lopez and LX now going into game number 4. LX with the swap.
Ooh. Over to the Koji. Interesting. Keeping that sword. The great sword's out of here. The bow is in.
Yeah, friendship with greatsword ended. Friendship, new best friend, bow, as we're getting into the next one. I like that at least there's been kind of this connect the dots with LX's Legends. It's like, I had a Mako, and Mako has greatsword, and so I switched to Jaehyun. Jaehyun had greatsword as well, but Jaehyun also has sword. Now Koji has sword.
The 6 degrees of Koji bacon, or whatever you want to make it.
Sure. Lopez, though, able to pick up some gauntlets here in game number 4.
Ooh. All right, so we see LX, you know, kind of adopting a little bit of like the greatsword style there, where you would often approach with the downlight on greatsword just because of how much distance it covers. He's trying to set up the same thing with that bow downlight. You see him hanging out around the corners, waiting for Lopez to land in the center, but he hasn't been able to turn that into any significant strings right now, and that's given Lopez the lead.
It's not the biggest lead, though. Lopez is doing a really good job of staying just high enough to catch with these falling side airs, denies the weapon, throws out a big side stick attempt, but LX, with a falling there, will throw it away. Has a sword in hand now. First stock could go either direction.
Yeah, both of them primed for knockout. It's just who's going to be to find it. Gravity cancel downlight into recovery. Lopez, 3-2.
A nice knockout for Lopez over to the orb. Hasn't gotten any extra credit just yet. That's the first little bit of damage, but the tatami mat evens it up.
Cut short. Momentary weapon juggle. You see LX just kind of showing off the platform movement a little bit, maybe to warm up, so that way he can start dodging around these gauntlets a little bit better than last stock.
Being able to do those chase, or not those chase dodges, but those just raw dodges off of those platforms, very useful for that movement. Sidelight, trying to read some movement from LX.
Again, LX just staying very mobile. He wants to keep that range advantage, you know, even more so than he had with the reach of the greatsword. all these projectiles, these arrow shots that the bow is tossing out, he definitely has the range advantage over both of Lopez's weapons.
Yeah, and Lopez kind of knows that LX is definitely playing a strong ground game, and you're seeing him really go for like a lot of jumps before landing back down onto the stage. Gets the side light side.
Oh! Man, he didn't get as much vertical movement out of that jump as he wanted to. He had to burn the dodge early because of the weapon throw coming out, but he did spend it straight horizontal, and that didn't give him the angle to make it back to stage.
And now it's on Lopez, going for the edge guard, hits a ground pound, second ground pound.
Double dunk,
weapon toss,
triple,
all the stars. Lopez gonna close it out 3-1 over LX. No double taps here. And Lopez will continue on. So your top 3 picks are all in the top 3.
You know, feels good, man, but I didn't get here alone. I'd like to thank Dobrain for also being correct.
Yo, it's not fair that y'all like get together and you're like, hey, let's come up with the best possible picks. I have to sit here in my room by myself. Going with my gut. All right, well, anyways.
It's all right. You know what? Maybe you can ask Sparky what his picks were for this. You know, we'll talk about that later. But you see Wes sitting up there in grand finals. Losers finals is now going to be Fiend versus Lopez. Oh, man, what a wild top 3. Powerhouse players.
Some might say even predictable. Not me, though. It's an unpredictable top 3 for sure. But Fiend and Lopez. Now, in the losers final, can they prove TWK true and have Lopez win out over Fiend? Or will Fiend make the upset and go back into the grand finals? We will await and see. It'll be interesting what the character picks are going to be, because it seems like they both have a lot of counter pick potential. So are they going to try to metagame and go for the off pick, or are they going to go for the straight pick of what they were playing earlier and then adjust as needed?
Yeah, so if we were to assume, all right, let's say Lopez is staying with the Barbara and Fiend is staying with the Queen Nai. How do you feel that particular matchup plays out, and what stages might they be interested in?
I think that goes in, honestly, I think that goes in Lopez's favor. I was going to say Fiend because the spear, I think, of Fiend is really, really solid. But the fact that Barbara, just as a character, has a pretty decent amount of movement speed makes it so that she, as a character, is able to dip dive around all those signatures, around all of that gameplay. And it's really, really nice, because that's one thing that'll work in your favor. But we don't have to play the guessing game. It's going to be the Queen Nai from Fiend, but it's going to be the Cassidy from Lopez.
Okay, so you did mention that we saw this earlier in the tournament, back in the previous run back of LX versus Lopez, where Cassidy showed up for a brief moment in the middle of that match. Not particularly for Lopez, but I wonder, was there a little bit of like absorption, some learning through osmosis going on?
Next, Cassidy, a wild pick from Lopez. I can't think of something that she gets off 9 decks. Does she get Sidelight Neutralite Ensig true?
It closes a couple of those gaps, but you know, nothing too significant that you're going to be looking for that would make up a lot of the damage. It's just a lot less recovery time on miss, for sure.
Yeah. Lopez is going to be able to throw out quite a few moves relatively safely, but the hard part is going to be for Lopez to get in on top of Fiend with this spear, but he's doing well. Goes for the neutral sig, but a nice dare from Fiend will shut that down.
Woo!
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got the lasso, and that's going to be the knockout.
That's enough to knock out. Wow. Because that signature, you know, not one of the better hammer options, especially when you've got the neutral air, the side air, some of the Russian Mafia combos that you can do. And it has that like diagonal knockout that usually takes a little while.
Yeah, I was not confident that Ensig was going to lead to the knockout, but at the same time, like, start throwing those out early. Cassidy, she's got a lasso shop, and she just throws those out. You'll see that a lot from the Cassidys out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing anti-air. Covers that diagonal area that the hammer usually struggles with.
Oh, but the spear not struggling with the neutral signature. Fiend going to even up that stock count and take advantage. of the respawn to switch over to the guitars.
Has the weapon juggle. Oh, just tosses it over. Lopez probably just taking a swig of water in between, like, hey, you're going to juggle for a while. Let me just rehydrate. But, man, Fiend caught him unawares.
It looked like a fake out AFK. Like, my controller unplugged.
Fiend doesn't fall for such simple tricks.
Or he doesn't
Look at
care.
this.
He's like, we take those. Ooh, whiff punish.
Man, the damage is so close between these two. They're both looking for the knock. Oh, that could have been the gravity cancel. You know he was hunting for it.
Wanted it, but Fiend going to find the neutral light into the recovery. And Fiend went from being down a stock to being up a stock all along this second stock.
Now, how much extra credit can he get? Qatar's not that high of damage, but you get that many hits, and on a character like Queen Nai, look at Lopez, almost in the red.
Things looking rough for Lopez. Sure, able to hit the side sig and put Fiend down to final stocks, but man, Fiend went to the teacher, asked for extra credit, and the teacher said, you can just retake the whole class.
Oh
Neutral
my
sig
gosh.
to close it out off the downlight. Fiend, in convincing fashion, takes game one.
Yeah, I mean, it was very close at the start there, and then halfway through, Fiend just kind of decided, nah, we're not doing this anymore.
And Lopez going to be sticking with the Cassidy. Interesting.
Oh.
It looked okay at the beginning. A lot of blasters was successful, but then like second and third stock were kind of non-existent, completely shut out by Fiend. Oh, goodness. You left that on the field, Lopez.
Well, this is going to be a bit of a trip.
It's going to be quick, man. The thing that's nice for Lopez, again, it's small Brawlhaven, so Fiend, like, 2 signatures and Lopez is going to be off the map. But on the other side, it does technically kind of make the defense of Fiend less of an issue. You're not going to see Fiend living for quite as long.
Yeah, it cuts his stocks a little bit shorter, but man, Queen Nai has some serious power behind those signatures, behind her strength stat. So I feel like this is just a race to the finish off of a cliff, and Fiend is just hoping to push you off there first.
A little bit of a game of chicken, but Lopez starting to find more stomp into Ensig. You saw him try to go for another one, but Fiend with the guitar downlight. Again, the downlights, Lopez just trying to get out of those loops. Nice.
Ooh,
Weapon
managed
toss.
to catch with the recovery, the weapon toss, making him think about it. Fiend saved his recovery for so long to be able to make it right at the end there.
Yo, but Lopez still able to land the stomp. Ensig this time goes for a stomp side air to take the first stock, but we've seen this before, and Fiend was able to steal it away.
Fiend setting up the corner guard. Lopez getting underneath the snake bite.
Lopez went to the veterinarian, made sure that he had some anti-venom on hand. Fiend gonna go in with the downlight into the recovery, as that was the closer kill box, and take the stock count to even.
I do like Fiend opting to stay with the guitars here. That's where he's gotten a ton of damage lead. Oh, but it turns it into what? A crazy spear string off stage. That was absolutely wild. Off of the weapon starve swap too.
What
so just a ton of value there.
Yeah, going in with that gravity cancel downlight to continue that string off stage. Really, really nice for Fiend. And actually stealing the lead now. Neutral sig, and that stock's gone. This is small Brawlhaven. This is Brawlhalla. This is what you got to expect.
Yeah, I don't care what damage you were at. I mean, that half the time is just going to knock out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, both of them now just heavily thinking about this. They're like, wait a minute. These first few stocks have been kind of volatile. We might need to rethink our plans.
Yeah, Lopez really took a second there to be like, wait, you can do that? You can just Ensig and kill?
Oh my gosh, he's trying to desig and kill as well.
That would have spiked too with how low Lopez was, but he was just underneath it. Still fairly damaged here, so Fiend looking good to take this one. Another couple hits and an Ensig, and Lopez is out of here.
Ooh, Lopez just dashing in behind that spear side light. Again!
Oh no!
Snakebite finds purchase.
Another Sig
Does he
attempt.
still have more of that anti-venom? He's gonna need it.
Up to a certain point, you just end up as a person with a bunch of snake bites and anti-venom for blood. Fiend just needs one more signature, and game 2 is going to be going his way, but he goes off stage. Can't really signature off stage.
Man, he doesn't even need a signature. The slap with the bounce is enough to do it, to set him up 2-0 for the set. If I was Lopez, I would not want to go back to small Brawlhaven.
Or probably not go back to the Cassidy as well. There was stuff that was working, but like, even so, he did what, like 3 stomp NSIGs, and Fiend just shook that off. Like, that is how much defense Queen Nai has and how little strength Cassidy has. I kind of want to see something different from Lopez, but we'll see what he goes to. Okay.
Over to the...
That's a little disrespectful,
Nash?
okay, sir?
Against Fiend?
That's
Nash?
a little rude.
All right. I know, throughout the history of Brawlhalla, where Fiend has sat at the top of this region for so long, year after year, it was always the Nash. You know, you'd be like, hey, where do I want to see some good Nash gameplay? Go look at Fiend. So what is Lopez doing picking Nash against Fiend? This maximum disrespect.
Yeah, this is Lopez just trying to get into the head of Fiend. We'll see how well it works out. Of course, Stomp NSIG not going to be true for the Nash, but it will still hit a little bit harder. So maybe that's what Lopez is looking for. But Fiend maybe a little bit incensed by the character pick, already going in hard with the unarmed.
Yeah, I mean, that was rough. He's like, you can have all the weapons you want all day. I'm just going to smack you back for it. Guarding the corner again, almost caught the dodge. Lopez punishing in turn.
Nice spot dodge to avoid the air.
Now that's the thing. Nash, you know, his stats, they are kind of dictated to take out Queen Nai. You know, he is high strength, high speed. Queen Nai, she's high defense that the high strength will cut through, and low speed. So Lopez can actually run laps around her. He just needs to find the footing.
Has to find those Nikes, those Air Force Ones, lace them up and get in on top of this. But Fiend with the NSIGs goes high, looking for another NSIG, but Lopez able to avoid it. But the slap down, and Fiend in the lead here in game number 3.
Yeah, now, so he's up on stocks. He's up 2-0 on games. I'm so glad Lopez was able to tie that up. He didn't let any extra credit happen, just immediately tie up the stocks back in this. He's got to get on the board with this game.
Good job stealing out the weapon as well. Fiend, though, again, comfortable with the unarmed. Goes for the ground pound, but Fiend was above it.
See Lopez dashing around these platforms, trying to keep a little bit of extra distance against Fiend so he doesn't get caught by the anti-air downlight from the spear.
Yeah, that's such a tough spot. Like, you see the way Lopez is trying to play this, right, is be right underneath Fiend, except that he's got Hammer. It doesn't exactly have an anti-air from the ground. Like, of course, you can go for those air-to-airs, but when you're underneath something, you don't have a lot of options.
Oh, man, and now he's unarmed. Now the stock is gone, and Fiend just pressing the advantage.
That D-line into the NSIG was just another nail in the coffin of Lopez. One last stock here in game number 3. This is Lopez's tournament stock, his opportunity to continue on in the bracket and go into the grand finals.
Oh, goes for the signature. Fiend tags him for a fair bit of damage. Lopez can't afford too much more of that. Ah, but it seems he's getting tagged again and again.
Okay, stomps there.
Not a moment too soon. The damage was certainly starting to build. Lopez, I think he can only take like 2 or 3 more hits.
Well, there was like 4 hits in that neutral light, but not quite as big of hits as like a spear NSIG would be. Lopez trying to avoid these hits, avoids the recovery. Spear in hand, but has to play a perfect stock here. Ooh.
Oh my gosh. That signature would have done it.
Just barely beat out in the spacing. Platform protecting from the weapon, tosses, doesn't get the punish, the neutral sig.
Oh my gosh. Gets down through the signature, goes for the signature of his own. He's not out of it yet. Fiend tossing the weapon. Lopez tossing his own to get stage control back.
Really wanted to make the swap over to the hammer, but Fiend with the gravity cancel down light recovery will win out over Lopez 3-1 and will continue into the grand final.
Man, oh man. That was a heart-wrenching set. It seemed like Lopez, you know, I don't know what the character picks were going on there. He believed in him, but Fiend believed he had the answer, and he was right. That Queen Nai paving the way to victory, and now Fiend gets this run back from winners finals. We're going up to grands, baby.
Yeah, and you're seeing that replay of Fiend actually spot dodging through the neutral signature of Lopez and then getting that punish, saying, I know this character. This is my character. I know the hitboxing on it, and gets the dub. But now he has to go back into Wes, who just beat him 3-1 in the winners final. So there's a very real possibility of Wes just completely shutting it out, because Wes is sitting there with a with a barn in each hand, while Fiend already had one burned down. A little bit of arson from Wes.
How many barns are there? Like, I know it's the bull. Like, he's got the Taros. That's a I don't know, appropriate setting, yeah. Right? But man, Fiend, he's got one best 3 out of 5 set to try and make this work. He's got to win 2 of them. Wes just has to win 1. Ah.
And
I don't know, man. This is gonna be a rough match.
It's gonna be tough for Fiend, and you're seeing Fiend go straight into the Queen Nai on this one. Was feeling comfortable with the Queen Nai against Lopez, but as we saw in the winners final, Wes was like, I'm fine with this matchup. I know how to play against the Queen Nai, and it was actually the Val that was able to take a game off of Wes for Fiend.
So we're gonna be starting off game number 1. These 3 maps open. 1, 2, or 3 platforms, we choose 1. So here it is, grand finals of the Brawlhalla Spring Championship. South American 1v1, Fiend versus Wes. Let's go.
The final set of the weekend. It all comes down to this set between Wes and Fiend, who is going to be the South American 1v1 Spring Champion. Wes, first one to pick up a weapon. Fiend finds some guitars to put on each hand, but there's the first little bits of damage for Fiend. Wes actually not able to get any damage onto Fiend just yet.
Yeah, so I do wonder, was Fiend able to, you know, kind of figure something out in his time in the lower bracket? Just be like, all right, I understand what went wrong in winners finals. I've got the fix, and right now it looks like the fix is in.
Yeah, Wes really struggling against Fiend, and Fiend again on the Queen Nai sure went into movement speed, going from 3 to 4, but he is just moving all around Wes, and Wes is struggling to find a hit onto Fiend. Fiend over to the spear for the potential knockout.
Oh, dash just a little bit too far for that
dodge.
signature. Wow, delayed the dodge, delayed the signature, both of them calling out their trap cards for each other.
Yeah, that was Wes playing with old information, knew that Fiend liked to dodge down, but he does get the first knockout off the side air. Fiend just didn't have the movement on that one, and that's one of the things that Queen Nai will struggle with, is if you launch her far enough away, she can't get it back.
Ooh, Fiend slapping the axe out of Wes's hand, but Wes quickly rotating over to that second axe. Man, Fiend is trying his hardest to get a tag onto Wes, but it seems like Wes has just kind of figured something out after that first stock. I mean, it was an amazing comeback. Fiend had the damage lead. Now he managed to tie up the stocks, and this is actually pretty close.
Yeah, a little bit of warm-up time for Wes to get back into it, but was able to put out quite a bit of damage. Catches Fiend with the neutral signature there, but not able to get much more off of it. That soft platform helping Fiend out. Still, though, good hammer damage.
Oh!
Misses the neutral sig. Weapon toss. He didn't
Dive
touch.
kick before he touched! Before he touched! Just bounced him off of the wall at just the right moment.
Yeah, perfectly timed that down air so that Fiend couldn't get the wall touch to reset the jumps and ends up just falling down. Again, goes for the offstage with the hammer.
That is some serious damage. Fiend responding with some damage of his own. Again!
Dodge.
Oh my gosh.
Caught the spot dodge from Wes, was able to get the 3-piece into the neutral sig. That's big damage for Fiend.
Oh, wow. All right, so Wes is actually charging that gravity cancel for all it's worth. Because you see how quickly that signature can fire off? He's put, he put the breakdance in it.
Yeah, off the soft platform. Wes was like, I know you look good at the start of this one, but I'm going to look great at the end of this one, as he takes game number 1. And Fiend now having to make an adjustment again. Wes just needs to win 2 more, and he's going home the spring champion for South America. Otherwise, Fiend is going to get that hot reset, and we get another best of 5.
You know, Wes, I think they mentioned it earlier. He's looking to complete that seasonal gauntlet. Because right now, his record, he's won every seasonal between 1v1 and 2v2. But if he wins today, it gives him every seasonal for 1v1 by itself.
Yeah, no more asterisks on the home run. It's just a raw, I've won every 1v1 or every season. And now it's on Fiend, he's thinking long and hard about this one. This is a tough spot to be in. Currently down 1 game in the grand finals.
Yeah, you did mention it was actually the Val in the earlier winners final set that managed to take a game off of Wes. So are we going to see a resurgence of that? Or is he actually going to reach further into that roster and pull out something entirely different?
I don't know. I don't know where Fiend's going to go with this. It's going to be the Hattori. Okay.
I mean, he was getting absolutely massive spear punishes. So I understand this. It's, you know, going for a little bit more of the speed there and still keeping the spear because, man, he cashed out for a ton of damage on every single string.
Yeah, Fiend definitely has been a long-time spear main, so not overly surprised to see the Hattori. A little bit of an interesting pick because I don't think we've seen the Hattori in at least a hot minute or two. It's definitely, I mean, of course, it's a character that he's played level 100, but it's just not something that we've seen in recent tournaments.
So now we're locking it in. Crystal Temple for game number 2. Wes is up 1-0, just needs 2 more games to seal the deal and take the whole tournament. Fiend trying to stop that short.
First weapon pickup. Again, a solid start, but we saw what happened in game number 1. Wes was able to just completely shut down the first stock. Hammer plays again come out from Wes.
Yeah, and this is just going to be an increase of pace for interactions from Fiend because he's got the speed to do it, but he doesn't have all the defense that Queen Nai did to survive the hits from Wes's Taros. So right now, he just needs to respond 4 hits for every one of Wes's at least.
Yeah, trades will definitely not be in Fiend's favor, but on the other side, completely different pace of game, like you were saying. Going from a 4 movement speed Queen Nai up to the base 8 movement speed Hattori means he is gonna be zooming. Nice
zooming right over for the pogo. And the anti-air on that, clean it up.
Yeah, didn't go for the immediate weapon toss, instead went back onto the stage, waited out the recovery from Wes, and when he was stuck in the recovery frames, got the clean punish. D-Light into the neutral sig to punish the gravity cancel.
Yeah, that is some serious damage.
Stuck on the corner.
Oh, Wes! All right, so both of these dash jump down airs that they've done around the corner, just kind of flexing on each other.
Yeah, that nice quick dash jump fast fall into the down air, scoop up for Wes, or just the pogo for Fiend. But slight advantage to Fiend. Wes can still do this, especially if he can deny this weapon from Fiend.
Oh man, he was trying his heart out, but Fiend managed to sneak in behind that ground pound. Whoa, watch out for that signature.
Fiend just able to eke underneath that neutral signature from Wes. Nice weapon toss, keep that momentum going. Just trying to keep this pressure onto Wes. Again, heavy hitting weapons, but a little bit of startup on them can make it troublesome against hyper aggressive players.
Ooh, just dodging that recovery, gets down through the neutral air. Tagging some damage for a punish. But not on the second one. I can't believe he survived that.
Yeah, that was just a barely survival situation there for Fiend. Wes in good position. Could take this stock off of Fiend in just a little bit. D-Light recovery, not enough on this one. Sword could do it.
Oh my gosh. Gets the diagonal angle on that one, though. So that one will kill a little bit later, just more distance to cover.
Oh, the nair underneath to punish the neutral signature from Fiend. Wes, deep red though. Fiend could even up the stocks. He's already gotten the extra credit though. He's already gotten a hit onto Fiend.
The rainbow toss to try and give him some safety. But man, Fiend is staying right on top of him. Couldn't find a hit though. Wes now armed up with the hammer, but one stock less, and that weapon is gone.
Fiend evens it up, puts him on into final stocks here, giving a lot of respect to Wes, who's been able to cover nearby him. Good dodge out. Fiend with a spot dodge and a punish.
Oh my gosh.
Still needs a little bit more here. No, Wes not able to get the touch. Fiend off the neutral signature. Will tie it up one apiece.
That was such a crazy interaction on last stock. It's like the rainbow weapon toss and Fiend just saying, hey, you know what? Go get your weapon. And Wes is like, oh yes, thank you for sending me over to it. And then, oh no, I died.
Yeah, I think just that brief moment of Wes thinking about picking up that weapon distracted him from the fact that Fiend was charging up that neutral signature, and Fiend able to connect on the Wes's head and lead to the knockout. Wes now thinking a little bit about what the adjustment's going to be. I kind of expect him to stick with the terrorist, though, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, that match wasn't that far out, especially given, hey, you need some time to adjust to the pace of the Hattori gameplay. It makes sense. You still have another to work with, although I know Wes wants to close it out here and get that full seasonal gauntlet, because that would put him on the likes of Kyler, Alice, and Tiger, the only other ones to do the full seasonal spread in 1v1.
Yeah, speaking purely internationally, that means that no North American or European has managed to accomplish that. Kyler, Tiger, and a potential Wes could be the three to get the Thanos gauntlet of seasonal 1v1 wins. Oh, it's a Hattori mirror.
Well then.
Same skins too.
Anything you can do, I can do better is the initial call for this game, I guess.
I guess so, man. This is a little bit of another ego play coming out in the South American region, going same character, or sorry, going up against Fiend's like kind of known pick right now, same skin from Wes.
Yeah, I mean, last time that Fiend had his own character played against him, didn't work out so well for the opponent. So can Wes change history here?
He's definitely trying to right now. Fiend, though, with some fantastic sword play, staying just underneath Wes, getting hit after hit. Over to the spear, though, and Wes gets on top of him. Back to the sword.
Ooh.
Trading blow for blow so far. Wes with the
Oh, wait a minute.
Gets the nair. Wes going to take the first stock.
Yeah, that was a solid ladder up through the sky. I mean, what an absolute comeback. Fiend had such a lead in that first stock, but Wes just firing back. I think he's got his pace.
Yeah, that ladder was made out of stainless steel, had some ropes to make sure it was well attached. Everything needed for Wes to get that knockout, and Fiend now going to try to even this one up. Throws out the side sig. Wes with the punish.
Ooh, not yet enough to knock out. Hattori, yeah, lower on the defense side, but also lower on the strength side. So it just kind of evens out. Oh, just shy. Had already spent the recovery. Not enough to make it back.
Now Fiend going to try to take advantage of the respawn, but the weapon spawns just on top of Wes. Fiend does have the stage control, though, but he backs away. Going to let Wes get back up safely.
Ooh, tagging him every time that Wes tries to come down off of that platform. Fiend is there and ready. Uh-oh, wasn't ready for that ground pound, though.
Nice spot dodge attempt from Wes, expecting Fiend to dip high. Oh, the side light beat out the N-Sig there. Fiend with a little bonk. Needs to touch, does touch, and Wes actually just holds on to the wall.
Ooh, Wes again going for that neutral signature where you teleport forward before doing the attack.
He really tried to Hattori him, really just went for the double N-Sig.
Yeah.
Oh, good spot dodge.
Oh my.
Woo! The reaction timing.
Some gutsy plays happening here. West now trying to find his way back down, gets the downlight into recovery, now has the stock lead, but it's tenuous.
Still has some health to play with, though. This isn't going to be a free just respawn Ensig or anything like that. Fiend has to get a little bit more damage onto West, which means West has a real opportunity of getting that cherry on top, that extra credit.
Ooh, was charging up the weapon toss, and Fiend just knocked him out of it.
Yeah, it unfortunately does not hit stacked anymore, so it does not work out in West's favor. Pogo.
Trying to catch Wes's landing. There he comes down. No, spent the dodge late. Managed to tag the sword.
Fiend from below with the recovery. Still needs the stock off of West. West with the reset attempt, but Fiend able to dodge out of that second downlight.
Oh, got the recovery. All right, Fiend managed to uppercut him out of there. That could have been really bad. I think West was going not for that down signature, but for a ground pound. He just happened to be a little bit over the corner. He definitely smelled blood in the water. He was trying to aggress.
Oh, I thought he was trying to go for the stylish slide charge down sig, where it like slides down the side of it, and if the opponent panics up into it, you release and just get that damage.
Maybe.
West, though, with the footsies, still has the health advantage over Fiend. Fiend does disarm himself with that weapon toss, but fortunate spear spawn for him on the right side.
West just needs a solid strike here. Fiend down off the side. The ground pound's going to do it. West now up 2-1. He's on tournament point.
He is one game away of winning this out over Fiend and earning that gauntlet and winning every single spring champ. Sorry, not every. What am I saying? Every single seasonal in 1v1, spring champ is the last one he needs.
Just trying to lock that in place so he can snap Fiend out of existence, at least until the next major event.
Well, I can tell you the Hattori has been snapped out of this one as Fiend is switching over to the Wushang. And now Wes.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Could you imagine if he actually...
This is him going to the store and being like, I need to buy Rano Wushang real quick. Give me a sec.
Please. Oh my gosh. What kind of message would that send?
The disrespect from Wes if he does so.
Oh, now they're both. Okay.
Wes has to lock in first, right?
I do believe so. So yeah, Fiend not trying to tip his hand as to who he's going to play and give Wes the chance to lock that in. All right, Wes sticking with the Hattori. Yeah, I mean, that just won the most recent match, so it makes sense.
Okay. Gonna be the Hattori. Fiend can make that swap over to the Rano Wushang if he so chooses.
Really, really thinking about this one. Because, you know, Fiend, a ton of different characters. We saw the Queen Nai. We know he can play the Nash. I wouldn't be actually too surprised to see that come out. There was the Val earlier, the Hattori here. I guess the only question is, what weapons wouldn't we see him play?
Well, I don't think he's won with a cannon yet.
Yeah, and I mean, if you haven't won with something yet, now is not the time to really bring that out.
Yeah. I was really just going off my checklist. I was like, well, he had the Jaeyon, he had the Thatch.
All right, yeah, he's won with this, with that.
Okay.
But no, it looks like he is locking in that Rano Wushang. So keeping the spear, but swapping out now has the gauntlets for those passive fists.
Would put it onto Game 5 and the potential for a reset. The Rano Wushang, will it be enough? We saw some good stuff from Fiend's gauntlets earlier, so I'm excited to see if he can do it again.
Ooh,
almost
going
got the
for a
read.
gutsy read right at the start.
It's super interesting because that's a read he wasn't doing with any other legend. Like, you did not see that with the Queen Nai or the Hattori, despite the fact both have spears. He was like, this is a Rano specific read.
Yeah, it's always interesting when players have, you know, not just like the weapon tendencies that they build, but specific strategies that are only with certain characters. Because yeah, sure, there are other side signatures that could cover that space and kind of work similarly, but he's like, no, no, no. That's the Rano plan.
This move only works with Rano, or it could just be safer, but Wes with the 3-piece does not get the jump into the recovery. Fiend, though,
yes!
Gets the double D light into the recovery to take the first stock.
That was big. Because that spear
nice.
downlight, amazing anti-air. Yeah, if you catch their dodge, you can go for the second one before going for whatever your finisher is. And knowing, side signature from Wes, tying it up right back. But noting where you are on the screen to either knock out up off the top or the side with recovery or side air respectively.
Yeah, that is one thing that is nice for the spear kill combo is you can kind of choose if you go for the horizontal or the vertical right now. Being able to pick up a spear, so we've got the spear mirror match here. Ooh, Wes gonna throw it away, switch over to the spear. I like that chase dodge nair though.
Yeah, that was a really cool option, covered a number of different dodges, and he even like turned it around so that way, hey, I think you're probably going to go a little bit more to the inside. That way I get the chase dodge afterwards in the proper direction.
Yeah, like you said, can't chase dodge in the opposite direction. Wes can't chase dodge off that down sig, but he doesn't need to as he's getting a lot of damage.
Oh!
He chase dodges for the recovery, and Wes now looking poised to take it. Potential tournament stock here for Fiend.
Man, too many of these matches are just absolute seesaws, where it's like, all right, somebody gets a massive lead for the first stock, they're looking incredibly strong in the match, and then it just gets the rug pulled out from under them.
Yeah, this rug just completely thrown out from underneath Fiend as Wes running away with this one. This could be huge for Wes.
I mean, he's already got Fiend into the orange. He's just a couple good hits. Now the stocks, yes, they are tied, but Wes is just a couple hits away from victory.
Missed the side light. Gets the downlight side air. Fiend bleeding out here. The recovery. One more of those could have been the stock. Ooh, just off the mark with the neutral signature. Fiend dodges through it. The Sair.
And that's it! Wes, he takes the championship. Wes is your Brawlhalla Spring Champion. The best in South America, winning this singles tournament. Absolutely dominant all the way through winner's bracket.
And he has the gauntlet to show it as he has now won all 4 seasonals in 1v1s. Get rid of the asterisk. Wes has hit the home run.
That's gotta feel good. I know he's gonna set up, you know, all those nice trophies, the medals, and just be like, yes, this is mine. I own the year, the seasons, everything.
Every seasonal. Wes is the champion, showing once again the dominance that he has over the South American region. You can see that bracket run only dropping, what, like 2 games the entire tournament? Or sorry, 3 games the entire tournament. 2 to Fiend. Wes